here to discuss about a webinar on My Story Motivational Session by a Successful Innovator. Today amongst us, the speaker Mr. Tuhin Bonit, CEO of Thatware, Board of Director of My Betting Deals UK Limited, also the CTO of Digital Transformation. So I welcome Tuhin in this webinar. And the main objective of today's webinar to get the idea about the challenges and the difficulties one can face while setting up its own startup. And this also gave idea to the participants about how to analyze their own startup and how to think for updation and expansion of the startup. So with these few words, once again, I welcome you all in this webinar, and that will be very helpful for all the students. Now, Tuhin, it is your platform to share whatever the views in this regard.
Yeah, so thank you for the good introduction, and good evening, everyone. So this is Tuhin, and before starting anything further, now the main thing what I really wanted to say is if you really want to have your startup, then the first and the foremost thing which you should be having is there should be a self trigger. You need to have the mindset that you should do it no matter what. So don't go by any principles. Being in an Indian community, people feels if you have failed one time, then you can do the second time, or if you fail the second time, you can do the third time. But if you fail the third time, then stop it. So that should not be the ideology. Let me tell you that before Thatware went successful, I failed more than 43 times. So this is and I was trying with my startup since I was just 16 years of age. So in my previous childhood, so I did my schooling from Northeast, and then I came to Calcutta for pursuing my BTech. So I was in NIT. So I was in Narula. So I pursued BTech. So the main objective is that the first and foremost thing for having a good mindset for setting on any of the venture is that it relies on 4 pillars. The first one is you should not give up no matter what. Even the founder of KFC got successful at the age of 63. So you should not give up. But it doesn't matter if you fail once, twice, thrice, or even nth number of times. So if you have the passion, then you would succeed. It might not be tomorrow, but it will be sooner or later. The second thing is you should put a positive impact on the society, because these days, everyone, what I see is these days everyone is opening startup. After a few months or few years, the startup shuts down, or things does not goes well. One of the major thing when I looked out by traveling parts of the world is that for any successful company, you need to have a good unique selling point, just like Facebook have its own USP, Microsoft have its own USP, Amazon have its own USP. So you need to have, any startup needs to have its own unique selling point by which it can provide a positive impact on any of the society or for the humankind. The third most important factor is that if you really want to make sure your startup is successful well enough, you really need to make sure that your startup do solve some real-time problems. That can be mankind, that cannot be, but it should have the efficacy to solve any of the real-time problems for what it might prevail. And the last but not the least is there should be a positive vibe throughout the journey. You should not build your startup just to get out from the 9 to 5 job, because everything is important. Even I have done jobs in my life. So don't opt for a startup if you just want to deal with you just want to get out of the 9 to 5. You just want to not be dependent on anyone. Trust me, in a startup also you need to be dependent on the B2B and the B2C industries, because everyone in the world is dependent to each other. Without customers, Facebook cannot sustain. Without the advertisers, Google cannot run. So as a company cannot even sustain without its founding employees. So this is the mindset which should be there. There should be a positive mindset that if I want to build a startup, so I should be putting a positive impact and a positive vibe towards the entire like society. So this is the main four principles of startup. Whenever someone wants to build a startup, so this should be kept in the mindset. So one sec, yeah. So let me just give you guys an introduction about just a short introduction of what I did and how I came up with such a thing, and like why I did it. So just to take everyone almost 10 years back. So what used to happen was like internet was booming, definitely from the early 2010 onwards, like when we were at our 10th standard. So internet was rapidly growing, and I found that maybe in the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, or even more, internet would be one of the most finest thing to survive on. And I was pretty much sure that in the entire planet, there would be a time when like 80 percentage of the mode of, you can say, like the modus operandi of any particular work would be dependent on the world wide web. So I first found that internet is a good thing, but it should be explored well, and it should be like revolutionized in such a way that many verticals can be explored. So then I did one survey. So it was back on 2013 when I launched my first startup. So I found that almost 24,000 websites are coming live every single hour back on like almost 8 years back. Then I found that this is a huge market scope because traditional marketing activities were diminishing, like the usual marketing standards are getting lower. One of the reason being that nothing can be tracked. If someone does an advertisement or if someone runs a business, then the traditional offline sector have limited edge, or it also have it also have limited, it also have limited growth opportunities because like nothing can be really tracked well. So and also to get a wide range of customers to grow the scale, like the full potential of any particular business, things should be made online. So that is when I found that businesses should like prevail online, and various marketing activities such as from the digital marketing, from the business intelligence to the competitive insights, so everything should be done online. So then I found out a concept that marketing can be well prevailed into the in the world of internet, and if we enhance that further with the help of artificial intelligence, which is the one of the like future of the technology. So that is what I've done. So I have combined the traditional marketing activities with the help of semantic science, information retrieval, artificial intelligence, and intent optimization. So that is when the optimization for any new business, like suppose any one of you run a startup. Suppose I'm giving the example of Narula itself. Suppose Narula have a website like nit.ac.in, and suppose Narula really wants to tap in students from all across the planet itself. Now Narula is quite good in terms of word of mouth marketing in Calcutta. It's good in the other parts of the India, such as from the Bihar, from the Jharkhand region, from even from the greater suburbs. Now, suppose suppose there is a time when Narula thinks like, hey, we need to scale up, we need to go international, and we need to let everyone know about the like huge facilitation of our education and how much well equipped we are. Now, in that case, if Narula really wants to get into the deeper market in the internet, so it need to really have a good branding and also a good exercise on the entire internet for each and every single country as far as it's practicable. Now this is when artificial intelligence can come into the play, because with the help of artificial intelligence, like there are various branch of like science such as semantic engineering, information retrieval. Then there is like understanding the intent, understanding like how consumers are behaving. So by utilizing several artificial intelligence and even marketing automations, it can really surpass many of the competitors. It can surpass many of the leading institutes, and it can even tackle well enough with the global brand. And by optimizing the right areas, it can really tap into good amount of the area. So this is just one part of the example of how artificial intelligence in business intelligence can work, and it can prevail, and this do have a future, because the one of the reason why I'm saying so is because like uh, even with the COVID, so in the COVID, like the entire thing have gone online. People have started from ordering online to, even in fact, like the coaching, the institutional activities to teaching, and almost majority of the activities from every single perspective have become online. So there is a great demand for online, and with the online, even the life gets quite easier for everyone. So people, there happens less commute time. People can reach to more number of audiences. People can sort a lot of problems at just one finger click. So if you can really automate the entire world of internet with just a finger click away, so the world would be much more easier for us. So that is what I basically do with my startup. So I have a range of companies where I deal with specifics of my technological strength, which I deliver across the world. So this is the brief background, and yeah, so I'm open to questions if you guys have any.
So, anyone have any question? As to him express that the motivational factor and also share his experience in his own startup. So, any student have any query regarding this area?
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay.
Good afternoon, ma'am, and good afternoon, sir. I am Dimitri Sarkar, currently pursuing BBA second year at Naroda Institute of Technology. So,
Yeah.
actually, I have a question that being a BBA student, sir, how can I prepare for a self startup of myself? That means, sir, you told that you failed already. Means, as an example, as you told, you already
Mm.
failed 43 times, but it is then only possible if someone has an enormous quantity of money with himself. That how many times only he failed, but he can
Okay,
again
so
regenerate
Dimitri,
himself.
let me tell you one thing. So
Okay, okay, sir,
I'll tell
sure.
you one thing that first of all, I'm a bootstrapped entrepreneur. So I invest on my own thing. So when I was having a startup, I used to. I'll tell you, like when I was in third year of Narula, I used to do a job at that time. So I used to have a 9 to 5 job, full time job. I used to get near about 30,000 rupees as a salary, and I used to bunk classes. Anilesh sir was there, so he used to scold me a lot. Like I used to have the least attendance of my class, and me and my best friend, we both used to have the least amount of like I can tell you, like least amount of attendance, least amount of everything, but still I knew that I can pass, like I can read the WBUT organizer and I can pass it out. So my main intention was I used to like work, and I used to reinvest on my startup, and with the same thing I even used to run the family as well. So like one mindset, this is a very difficult mindset which most Indians have, that hey, if we want to run a startup, we need an ample amount of money. But I can tell you that if you do have a unique product, or if you do really follow, like if you want to give a good customer experiences, then money is not the ultimate thing. There are startups who even fails even after getting some $1 million of funding, and there are startups I have seen who even have succeeded without even the aid of any single investment. So just like I said that for having a startup, and first of all, see Dimitri, one thing I'll clarify, that I was from EC. So uh, it's not like I was too good at the coding and all. No, because see, when you run a startup, as you grow, you hire people for do your work. So, but you just need to have the mindset that what you need to solve and how you need to solve. So if you have the clarity that okay, this is the problem which the society is facing, and I have this solution for resolving this particular solution, then I'll tell you, then your startup is 50%. Your startup is successful. Now, obviously, struggles prevails. That is, I'm saying repeatedly, like struggles always prevails, but investment is not the only thing which should be looked onto any startup, because like just like I told you that there are startups who fail, like who fails. One of the biggest example I can tell you is of Zomato and Paytm. So they have some of the $1 billion market cap, but still they are not on the profit margin. And on the other side of the story, there are also startups from all across the world, even on India also. Like in India, one of the very recent and good startup I can tell you is MBA Chaiwala. So MBA Chaiwala is a startup with very small or less investment, and it grew. So the main thing is like the main thing. Like I hope everyone knows one proverb from Albert Einstein that creativity is the ultimate knowledge. So you need to really include a lot of creativity with us, because the thing is, I'll tell you now that I at this point of moment I have near about 143 employees in house. I have 3 offices, and I even have more than 17 recruiter team members from IIT itself. Now what happened, like I never made into IITs, but IITs people are working for me. So the main thing is like you need to have some creativity on you, and you need to put that creativity into a real time working model. And if you self believe that this will going to be working, so that should work. So that is the ultimate thing. So that, like, that should be in your mindset. So whether you are from BBA or BSc or MSc, or even from just and like, can I tell you a short thing? Two funniest thing I'll tell you. In my office, I am the most youngest guy in my office, even though I'm the founder of my office. So every single team members of mine are of the age of more than 35 to up to, I even have my employees who are at the age of 52 even. So I'm the most youngest in my office, being a founder. And also I'll tell you that even the people who works for me, they are almost 10 times more knowledgeable and more skilled than me. But the reason why I have made my company is because I have taken, like, I knew some opportunities were there, I knew some loopholes were there, and I just took down on those as a strength, so that I can just revolve those into a further and well profounded way. So that is the main aim which should be built up.
But sir, how can I get the idea? Means that sir,
Idea, see,
you
Dimitri,
just now a
idea
few
is.
minutes ago you told that. So I
Mhm.
can complete the question.
Yeah, sure.
Sir, actually, few minutes ago you told that sir, systematized engineering that you told no few minutes ago
Mhm.
in the introduction.
Yeah.
Sir,
This
but
is
everybody
semantic engineering. Yeah.
sorry, sir, semantic engineering. Sorry, so
Mhm.
semantic engineering. Then many courses you told. Sir, what kind of courses can we do so that we can start a means startup of ourselves? So everybody
See,
cannot do.
Dimitri, see, one
Say,
thing.
say, sir.
Yeah, so one thing I'll clarify that if you want to have a startup, you first need to think what you love to do. So, like, the ways by which you love to do a particular thing, the solutions can come automatically. Like, I'll give you a short example of my thing. So when I started, I knew nothing about how AI would go and do the work. Yes, I did some AI course since I was in EC. So I knew Python, I knew language R, I knew Shiny R, I knew I knew STEM. So I knew a lot of like, first of all, I knew 13 programming languages, which was one of my strength during my, like, if you, in short, if I were to answer you, like, I was quite good with the programming. So I knew 13 programming languages, and in fact, in my EC fourth year, I was the only guy who did something outside of the box for the fourth year like live project. So I